All right, hey everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a quick design of a bench that I'm making for a friend of mine who is running the Burning Man camp that I'm going with this year, and she asked me to make some benches. We have a big, huge tent that we don't like to people wear shoes in, so she asked me to design some benches that people can use to put on and take off their shoes. So what I'm going to try to do, and this is the first one I'm ever doing like this, is I'm going to try to basically just do, it's not live, but a real time video of me just cranking out a design. So now I've already done a lot of work here to basically conceptualize what I'm going to do. So my goal is to do this in an hour. So we'll see if I can do that. And basically, the basic design is based off of a coffee table that I've designed before. So here, take a look at this. Here's the coffee table that I've designed. This one I called the Donahue table. It's named after a friend of mine who was moving, and he was like, I need a coffee table. And I was doing a lot of design at the time, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to design a coffee table. He didn't end up with it. Actually, this is the one that I use. This actual one right here is the one that I have in my living room. But basically, the bench is going to be designed off of this same basic concept. We're going to have the two legs, the top, and the center brace. And that's it. That's all the bench is going to be. The bench is going to be maybe about the same length, maybe a little longer, and but a lot narrower. And I don't know. I got to figure out the height. But maybe that'll happen in this video. Okay, so real simple, a design I've basically done before, and yeah, so we're gonna get started. Basically, over here you can see on the left I have the part number here, my 109, my 109th design, at least as I track them, the 109th one that I track, and we got a quick little throw my window down here in the corner. I just drew this square. Actually, we'll just get rid of this because I want to start completely from scratch on this design so you guys can see it from the very absolute beginning. So I'm using Fusion 360, and I have a paid version. I don't exactly know which features would be in a free version if you're going to use the free version. So just be aware of that. And full disclosure, this is not sponsored at this point. I paid for this out of pocket because I do a lot of design work. Okay, so the clock is already ticking, so let's get started. So yeah, I'm just going to do stream of consciousness, and I'm not going to necessarily talk about every little feature here. Oh, it's unfortunate you don't see the tooltip pop up. I have a tooltip on my screen that is not captured. I guess we'll just have to live with it. Okay, so like I said, 4 parts, but 2 of them are copies. The legs are copies of each other. So we're just going to start. Let's start at the top. Now, one of my goals for this one is to let me grab the rectangle there, is to make it 4 feet long, and then make it so that I can cut 4 of them off of a piece of plywood. So we're going to call this, and I'm just going to say right here, you'll notice I type in 24. We're in inches, I believe. What's a good width? If we're going to do 4 of them, like, it needs to be less than a foot wide. So let's call this 5 inches. Give it a little bit of room. Okay, so the idea here is I'm gonna mirror the hell out of this thing. So I'm not actually gonna model the full thing. I'm just gonna model, this is literally just 1/4 of it. So you see right here, this is the origin. I don't know if you noticed that just a moment ago. That's where I put the origin. That's gonna be the center of the part. All right, so then what we're gonna do is we will extrude this guy up. It's going to be 3/4 inch plywood. This is not going to be a mirrored feature, so we'll just put 7.5. Perfect. Here we go. All right. Now, so here's 1/4 of the bench, right? Let's cut a couple holes in it for the bracing and the leg, right? The leg is going to go over here, and if you're not understanding what I'm doing, that's great. It should make sense sooner or later. But yeah, just be a little bit patient, and you'll understand. Hopefully. If there's any questions, yeah, if there's any questions, leave them in the comments section, and I will attempt to answer them. or send me a message. All right, so here we go. So this is a slot that the other piece is going to fit into, so it has to be the width of the plywood. So again, 3/4 of an inch. Now a lot of plywood you might know is undersized. It's not a full 3/4 of an inch, but having a little bit of a gap is really nice. So this is looking like a 1.5. A lot of times I just eyeball it based on what looks good. So it was already close to 1.5. I like to copy them to use the same size everywhere if possible. Now remember, this is going to be mirrored, so actually we want 0.75 divided by 2, and you can type the equation in directly. And here's the thing, I'm not going to put it right in the middle. We're going to actually have two little pieces in the top that lock in together. Maybe that'll make sense as we get further down the design. All right, so here's where the leg is going to be. We don't want it obviously right on the very end, but we don't want it too far in. I don't know, let's call it 3 inches, and then maybe what, an inch from here, almost. Oh man, that's right on. Okay. We just want it to be stable, but we want it to have a little bit of gap. Okay, so we do that, and then we extrude these guys. Now, I'm a little bit more used to working in SolidWorks. That's what my whole career has been in. So, you know, just, all right, yeah, and then, so here we go, cut, and distance, we actually just want to go all the way through. Okay. So if I struggle a little bit with Fusion, it's just because I don't have quite as much experience in Fusion. All right, so here's the thing. I'm going to cut this on a router. You might know that a router can't cut a square hole, so we need to put little reliefs in here. And I have a really clever way, I think it's clever, of doing that. So it's weird that it goes back to the origin again. I'm not super familiar with Fusion. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a little circle here. So this circle represents our cutting tool. And actually, I should let me just show you real quick here. One of the things that I'm doing wrong in Fusion that's more convenient in Fusion is when you drag it like that, if you just type in the number, it adds the dimension. And I always forget to do that. It's a habit I need to start working on in Fusion. All right, so you'll notice that I'm doing a 0.26 diameter. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna hold Control to make these the same size, and then click on equal so they're the same size. Okay, so you'll notice the 0.26. This is going to be cut on a router again, and you might be like, well, why isn't it 0.25? So one of the things that happens, and let me just make this a little bit big for a second. Okay, so one of the things that happens is the router cuts along, and then if it's exactly 0.26, it cuts along and it just stops. Right, because it's the diameter of the tool, so it needs to just stop and then change direction. And that can actually create a little bit of, the tool might chatter a little bit in there and create a bad cut. So what we do is if we oversize the hole, in this case just a little bit, the tool path is actually going to be going in, and then instead of stopping, it's actually going to go and it's going to turn up. Even just a little bit of that little action of turning up can actually get a much better cut. So that's why we do it like that. All right, let's go back to here. Okay, so 0.26. Now, the relief cut really only needs to be like right, the tool just needs to be right there, right? So one of the ways that, or the way that I do this, and I think it's pretty clever, I came up with this a number of years ago, is go like that, and you can just make this coincident right there. So then you're cutting the smallest relief possible, and then we want these to be, yeah, control click these, we want these to be equal. So now this one's locking into being coincident even though we didn't tell it to be. Now the cool thing is we can put this dimension here, and actually we don't want a distance. I like to do this with an angle. So here we're going to throw an angle. So let's call it 45. So this is like the most basic. And then one of the things that I also like to do is I can make this if I make this horizontal, so Fusion has this horizontal vertical one, and then we can make it a, oh, you can't see my right click. I have to change how I do this in the future. So we're gonna make this a construction line. All right, so I just right clicked and then selected construction line. Unfortunately, you can't see that on the video. So now you see that because it's black, these are all constrained. Okay, so 45 degrees is the smallest relief cut possible on here, this little area here, and this little area here is the least volume that's going to be cut away. But one of the things that I like to do is I actually like to bias it to be cutting in a little bit deeper on the long edge, because we don't actually need a lot of the side. The side just kind of holds the piece from going side to side. You'll see in a minute that the press fit part is actually happening on the short side. So I tend to bias my relief cuts like this. All right, so then we just say finish, and actually, you know what I like to do? I like to do all of them at the same time. So unfortunately, I don't have a really good way. So I'm right-clicking here, and I'm going to just do Edit Sketch again. I don't have a really good way of kind of mirroring. In SolidWorks, one of the things that I think is really easy is you can do a hole wizard instead of drawing all these circles. I don't think Fusion has the hole wizard function. And if it does, I just haven't learned to use it yet. So again, I'm not the most adept with Fusion. Oops, nope. I hit F because in SolidWorks that would go to full screen. Okay, so then we're gonna do, apparently in Fusion it's fillet, or as fillet as someone might say, but it's actually fillet in engineering land. Okay, so we'll throw this down here. Oh, that's a little close. These are both a little close. All right. Let's grab that. All right. Now, like you probably saw earlier, one of the things that we can do is we could add a sketch line, a horizontal sketch line. All right, so equal. But you can also just do it without the line. The line is a nice visual representation at times, but you can just still do vertical there, and then horizontal there. I would not do the full, yeah, see that? Oh man, okay. Did I click the wrong one? Oh, it was probably trying to do weird. So sometimes it's better to just do it this way, I guess. All right, so now these should be pretty well constrained. Yeah, let's see how they're all moving together. Cool. All right, so again, I like to dimension as few things as possible. So even though I gotta scroll all the way out, control click all the way over here, equal, and then go back. Cool, so then we throw this guy on here. Again, I'm gonna go for that 15. Right click and, oops, right click and construction line. And you'll see this is fully constrained now because we did that horizontal constraint. Okay, so now one of the things that I wish that Fusion did is I wish that it would just select the full closed. Actually, maybe we'll try it this way because I don't think it will, but there's probably a way to do this. I bet some clever person on the internet has already figured this out. I bet it's a feature. Here, I'm gonna make these construction lines. If I make all of them construction lines, do you think it'll work? Maybe. Maybe. All right, control, right click, normal construct. Unfortunately, you can't see that. All right, finish sketch, and then extrude. Profile. See, I wish we could just select the whole sketch. I can't. Oh, and you don't see the little pop-up. Oh man, that's not great. Okay. All right, so anyways, this just means that now I have to click this little guy, and that's I find that pretty frustrating. So maybe if I continue to do these videos, I can figure out a way that I don't have to do that. You know, it's not the same program as SolidWorks. In SolidWorks, it would just default to extruding all the circles. Maybe I can just, yeah, see, it doesn't even select the circle. It just wants to select the region. Okay, so then we're going to do operation cut, and we're going to do all and flip. Cool. All right, now we have our reliefs. So I use a 1/4" bit these days because the hobby class routers that I tend to use don't really have the power to run a bigger bit. You could maybe do a 3/8 one, but I like the 1/4" bits. They cut really well for what I need, and they make smaller reliefs. I have done 1/2" reliefs here before. It works, but the 1/4" is better. All right, so I think you can't see it on the screen, but I'm just going to save. And again, this is named after my friend. I use surnames for a lot of my projects. Bench top. All right. Now you can't even see that window. Oh, I guess that's the downside of doing it. So I'm doing a window capture rather than just the screen capture, and I guess you can't see some of those pop-up windows or any of them, which is a bummer. Anyways, you can see it there. I called it bench top. We're 15 minutes into designing, so I gotta finish this up. Now here, this is why I'm here. All right, so we're done with this part. You're like, but Martin, there's only a 1/4 of a part here. So, oh, hold on, one more thing. So we like this variable. Do we have a? Do we have a constant? Kind of curious if we can do, so it's called a 1" fillet. Okay, so that immediately converted. Again, you don't have the screen. So what I would love to do here, oh, here's tangency weight. Okay, so we can flatten it out and we can make it a little bit more like peaked. Okay. So this is how we're going to get a little bit of a nicer edge. So what I'm doing right now, in SolidWorks we have it has a curvature continuous one, which makes a nice little corner. Fusion's a little bit different, but you can see we can either make it a little bit more peaked or a little bit more flat. I'm just going to go all the way to peaked. So tangency weight is 2. The edge ended up being, it's a chord length, so it's 1.41. You know what? We'll talk about that another day. Either way, I put in a variable radius. I wish I could show you how I did that on the little pop-up screen. Darn. Okay. Well, anyways, so that's. I also like to do these little fillets. This one's going to be just a constant radius. Let's make it. Let's make it 1/8 of an inch. Right. So 0.125. Oh, this is another thing. With Fusion, it wants you to select all of them before you type in the number. So this is another challenge that I have with Fusion, is that I would love to be able to preview the size of the fillet before, all right, 0.125, before typing it in. So yeah, if anybody knows a quick and easy way to do that, let me know. Okay, so now our bench is done. Our bench top is done. Again, you think it's not done, but I will show you that it is in fact done. So we're gonna mirror bodies. We have this one mirror plane. It's gonna be this guy, and then we're gonna mirror again. Man, you can't see the drop downs either. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. All right, mirror bodies. I'm selecting this mirror plane here. Okay, there's the top of our bench. It's a little short. I don't know. 4 feet is a little on the short side. I might need to change that. You know, one of the other things, if I go back here to this sketch here where we define this, you know, I did this 3 inches off the edge. That's probably the wrong way to do it. So what I want to do is off of this edge to the middle, because this is going to become important, and let's call it 20.5. All right. All right, save. All right, so there's a bench top. So in Fusion, one of the ways that they have this set up is that you can design all the parts in one body, but I really don't like that workflow. And this is, assemblies are where I'm still struggling in Fusion because it's really different than in SOLIDWORKS. But I just want to create a new design. So here we go. Here's a new one. Now, what you might remember, so when we sketched at first, I picked this plane. Now I want to pick the side plane. Hopefully I'm doing this correctly. I'm going to spend literally no energy making sure I'm doing it correctly. I might regret that later. So we're going to draw, this is going to be the center brace, okay? And you might be wondering how it's going to work. And never fear, I will tell you in just a moment. So I'm trying to do this a really simple design. My big goal for this design is to make it very, very simple, not really doing any crazy curves. All right, so we're going to make this coincident, and we're going to make it vertical. And then this one is also coincident. Okay, so what did we do before? It was an inch. I think, start dimensioning this. So I think this guy was an inch off that, and then this was 1.5, right? And then this one we want to be material thickness. This one, just make up a number. What's the number we want? 1.5? Actually, we'll start with that. Okay, and then actually I messed this one up. So this one, let's see. Let me see if I can just do that and then trim this off. It's a little bit unhappy about that for some reason, because what we want is we want this to be collinear. Actually, let's make it equal and collinear. Where's collinear? Oh, no? Drop down. There's a collinear in the drop down that you guys can't see, unfortunately. All right, so this means that this is constrained. This point is constrained right here. I think I actually want to get rid of this one. Maybe I'll right click and I want to make it driven. So now you can see that it's in parentheses. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this is the primary driver, so we want like a 2.75? Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so now here's the part that gets a little tricky. Go back here. Now, do we remember what this distance was? I already forgot. If I edit sketch, 20.5. All right. So this needs to be the same distance from this line to this center line. We're pretty close. Okay, so don't like how that did that. So Control Z to undo. Let's throw this here. This is going to be 0.75, again, 3/4 inch plywood. This one, I'm going to make it an inch. Probably get away with a little bit less. Probably get away with 3/4 of an inch. Now I can make this 20.5. Okay, now we're going to end up with this, where this, oh, I got to do the collinear here. Alright, so this is collinear. Again, drop this down. You can't see it, but there's a collinear button. So now you can see that we're kind of able to float this around. I like to have, let's call it an inch of engagement here. Ooh, maybe 1.5. Let's try 1.5. Oh wait, no, that was the wrong dimension. Let's try it like this. Yeah, 1 point. That's too much. 1? What about 1.25? 1.25. All right. I have a little bubble here that is not going away. There it goes. All right. And I think we should just make these equal. Make them equal. Now this is all constrained. Okay, so now we have to figure out what the height of the bench we want is. You know, I don't know. Maybe. You know what I got right now? I have a ruler around here. At least I thought I did. I don't know where my ruler is right now. I have a 2-foot ruler. I think we probably want to go like 20 as a height. But we want like an inch or two on the bottom. So we're going to go to this top surface here. So let's call it 18. Is that going to be way too high? Well, this is not good down here. This is not a good design. I think this is too tall. Let me pause momentarily and grab a ruler. All right, pause. Unpause. Okay, no ruler. I don't know where my ruler is, but I got my tape measure. I just measured again, this table. This is 17 inches tall from the very bottom to the very top, and I think personally, it's like a perfect size. So 17 is a great guess. Right now, the chair that I'm sitting in, I'm at probably closer to 20 or 21, which is a little tall for like a shoe bench, right? Because you're gonna like bend over and put your shoes on. It's a little bit of a stretch. So if we go down, this is the lowest this chair goes. This is a really good height. This is probably closer to 16. Everything's variable here. I'm tall. I'm like 6'2", so I'm a pretty tall person relative to average. But what that tells me is that we can get away with, if we edit this, definitely more like 16-inch bench, -2. We'll get to that -2 part in a moment. So really you can do like a 14. That's probably going to be good. Okay, I'll clean this little area up here in a moment. Let's just finish this up because now we're almost 10 minutes on this part. So let's again. I wish you could see this window. I'll have to fix that for the future, so you can kind of see a little bit more directly what I'm doing. But this will work for now. Okay, so I'm ready to test fit this with the other part. So I'm just gonna click save, and I like to type in my 0109 bench brace. I like to type in the part number. You should see it pop up over here. Okay. Now, okay. New file, new design. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag. Oh, so I have this window. This is the thing with Fusion. Design not yet saved. Cannot insert external components into this design because it has never been saved. Save a design, then try to insert it again. Okay, so click save. 0109 bench assembly. Okay, bench assembly. There it goes. It doesn't know what to do for an image because it's blank. Benchtop. Ideally, we're gonna go in at the origin. You don't see this little pop window, but I'm just gonna leave it there. So Fusion has this thing, you right click and ground. So you see this little pin. Oh, you can't even see that little thing. You can't even see my little context menu here. Unfortunately, we'll have to fix this for the future. I'll have to do a window capture. Or not a window capture, but like a screen capture rather than a window. Should I do that now? I'm gonna pause and see if I can get that to pop up. All right, one more pause. Okay, this is a little better. I think this is gonna work a little better. I was able to do a window capture, which hopefully this works well. So now you can see my thing here. So again, the ground, unground. So this is just, it would float around, and then if we right click ground, it puts this little pin here, and now this part is locked down. Okay, so hopefully we can just click and drag, and hopefully it just comes in on the right spot. Unless I did it. Ah, I did the wrong coordinates. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna rotate, and now you can see that this little window here. So you can see that it's 90. We're gonna move it over here, and then we're gonna move it here. Whoops, not that. We're gonna move it like this, and the cool thing is if you zoom in, the steps get smaller. But we already know that it's 0.75. And we also know that looked like it was 0.25. Maybe it looks like negative 125. Huh. I don't know why that is, that's weird that that's not lined up. Interesting. Why is that not lined up? It's also not lined up here. Um, I don't know. Maybe we made a mistake earlier. Uh, Weird. Very weird. Okay, so it's not grounded. So let's actually just assemble it. Um, okay, so I think we could do. This is like always such a position components relative to each other in an assembly, and then defines relative motion, and then components maintain their current position. Oh, okay, it's because I didn't as build it. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to put this center, and Fusion defaults to having it in the center of the face. So we might be able to get it to just lock in exactly perfect. And the motion is rigid. Okay, so just click OK. All right, so this should be locked down, and it should be, yeah, so I can't click and drag it at all. And it should be perfectly set up. Cool, got it. All right, so one of the things we didn't do, and let me go back to this over here, is we didn't mirror it. So let's mirror. And now you can see all those windows. Perfect, right? We're gonna mirror our body. We're gonna mirror this body. We're gonna mirror right here. And we're gonna save. Fusion prompts you to put in a description. A lot of times I don't, just because it doesn't matter that much. Oh, see, now it doesn't like it because it's out of date. So we click get latest version, and boom, there it is. All right. Now, some of the things you might not like about this, as I already don't, is this is a little too thin right here. I don't like that. And I don't like how thin it is right here. I want it to be thicker there and thinner here. So we're gonna bias that a little different in just a minute. But let's oh, I can't open. I can't right click and open. That's unfortunate. Let's throw a big fillet. Now we can see that you have this constant. So we're gonna throw a nice. So that's like 8. And oh, it does this thing here too. Cool. So the cool thing about this little guy is that you can really get it to have a nice, more elegant look. So we're gonna go again with 2 on that tangency weight. And we're gonna go okay. So now it's a nice looking part. You'll also notice we haven't added reliefs yet, so let's roll back to here and throw in those relief cuts. Okay, so again, create sketch, and we'll do make these equal, and put in my nice little thing here. Make this coincident, and we'll make this also equal, and then I can put in my dimension like this. This one, I'm gonna go 45, and the reason I'm going 45 here is because I need some land here, because this is actually gonna be, this spot is what is gonna support the weight of the person, but then this area is also what's gonna create the press fit. So we're gonna talk about those press fits in just a moment. All right, so I need a line, because remember before when we did this without the line, it got a little confused. So we're gonna go horizontal. And you know, the thing with Fusion is like, because I still have to select these regions, there's almost no purpose in making construction lines except for your own, except for your own, I guess, reference, right? It's just for you to see easily. I guess you wouldn't have to do these two regions if that was a construction line. But, all right, cut, all, flip, and there we are. All right, so I did that one. Let me just edit. I'm gonna edit the same sketch. And we're gonna throw it down here. So last time you saw that I made it equal up there. This time, oh, the other thing is if you select, the first one you select is the one that becomes the reference for like the equal size. So I should be selecting the smaller one when I do this, but it doesn't really matter. All right, so this one, this is going to be a little bit weird. So one of the things about the press fit is that we don't ever put a press fit on a surface that we're not controlling. So you don't press fit on this width because this is going to be the thickness of the plywood. So the only press fit that we do is up here on this part because we control this width. We're cutting that, and then we're cutting the hole that it's going into. This might make sense in just a moment. I'll try to. That's going to be a little bit easier to see in the assembly view. All right, so I'll go like this. If you hear me hitting escape as like a double tap a lot, it's just habits, right? Because sometimes you hit escape and it goes to the function that you were at before, and if you hit escape twice, it clears out more completely, I guess. All right, make these equal. All right, and then do that horizontal thing again. Oh, now you can see right-click, construction, and horizontal. Fusion has a thing called centerline and construction line, which is probably pretty handy. I'm probably a fan of that. But I don't have a need to use it right now because I'm not doing any revolving stuff. I'm not doing cylindrical stuff. All right, 15. Now I could go 0 here and it would be all the way cut into this one side and not into this side at all, but I honestly, like, let's just call it 1. Like, you get such a big cut here and such a small cut on this side that I like 15. 15 is why I didn't resolve. What? Software, right? Software. What are you doing? 15. Okay, got it. Amazing. Don't we just all love software? Okay, and then edit this feature so we add these regions. And then, boom. All right. I don't know. I have to figure out the hotkey for zooming out. All right, save. Okay. I'm gonna leave this just like this for the time being, and we will finish up these details in a moment. And we are. Excuse me while I wipe my nose on camera. Okay, so, boy, we're running out of time. I was really hoping to do the cam. But I don't think we're going to have time to do cam in this. Okay, so you might notice that this is a center brace and it's way at the bottom. And so what we need to do is we need to do the legs. The legs. Now, do we remember what this distance was? That's actually edit, because I did it from an inch from there. But really what we need to know is we need to know this dimension. So we'll create driven. So this is because it's over constrained. All right, so that's 2.5 inches. So and then it's 1.5 inches. Okay, so save, new design. Now we're gonna do the leg. Create sketch. I should have done the center brace here, so we're gonna put the leg on this plane. And again, so the center line is on it's gonna be way down there. So we go like this. And if you don't follow exactly what I'm saying, that's okay. That's okay. So I like to do an angle. Well, this bench is so narrow. It's like, really, could I get away with an angle? I think maybe not. I think we should make it straight. Stuff is so boring. It's some very brutalist looking design. What do we think? Angle or no angle? Everything else is very square. Let's just try it without the angle for now. And then we'll go like this. I'm a little bit worried. Why isn't this? Okay, let's snap that together. I'm a little bit worried this is going to be ugly. All right, so this one needs to be coincident. And what did we say? This was 1.5 inches. And then this was 2.5. All right. And then these ones are going to be equal. And now you can see the collinear. Why does it unselect them though? Grab that, collinear, got it. And then we do this again is 0.75. 0.5? You know, the problem here is that it could be super, super wide. You know, I think so the problem is that this is going to be very wide. Actually 2.5 isn't bad. 2.5 isn't bad. All right, you are going to be coincident. And then this is going to be, now remember, this is the center line one, so it's going to be 0.75 divided by 2. You know, this should be 2. And then, so remember we did 14, but it was 14 from here, wasn't it? Drag that down there, and then we'll make this 1 inch. Whoa! Why did I grab that one? This is why I have escaped so many times. 1. Do we not love that? You know why we don't love that? There's a really good reason that we don't love this. We don't love this because it doesn't have a foot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like this. And the foot should be aligned here. And we're just going to trim. That dimension's going to go away. We're going to make this something very small, like 1/2 inch. We're going to still make this 1 inch. And then this is going to be collinear, because it needs to be okay. It needs to be collinear. Actually, I don't dislike that being thinner than this one. but for aesthetic reasons, that should be the same, I think. I can already tell I don't like this, but uh, 0.75. Let's just see how it looks. Mirror this body, mirror here, boom. Okay, there she be. There's our bench legs. They're beautiful, aren't they? Okay, 0109 bench legs. Save. But at least now we get to go in here. Actually, I'm sorry, assembly. Can I drag this over to here? No, I can't drag it. Okay. Let's fly around. Okay, now we get to go over here. And we get to, it's out of date, but we'll save it. And we get to throw in some bench legs. At least they're centered. At least they're centered. Why is that? Why did that move? Was that always like that? Was that like that earlier? Oh, it's the constraint type. Oh my god, because I cut the relief in. That's I gotta learn about. You know what we can do? This is gonna be kind of dirty. This is gonna be kind of dirty, but I'll just save that after rolling it back. Go back here, rebuild it, be like, actually, this constraint, just kidding, delete that, but ground this, go back here, save it, and then go back here. Boom. Pretty. That works. Let me get that relief in there. And it didn't move the part. See, this is why I don't love these types of constraints. I mean, I guess it's just a learning curve and practice. But boy, oh boy, wouldn't one think that that would be there'd be a better way to do this. Okay, so I'm almost at an hour. So let's just move this into place. I kind of don't want to do it the same. Oh, we already have the reliefs. Oh, right. But we already have the reliefs. But actually, you know, here, let me do this a little different, because what we can do is we can probably do it on this node and then this node. And then when we cut that relief, it will be okay. All right, so I thought I might have done this one wrong. 14 inches to the wrong part. So let's go. Oh man, I did the wrong. Let's open up this one real quick. We're basically out of time, but oh, was this sketch? Yeah, this one. No, not that one. This is the relief sketch. My mistake. This sketch. Oh, so I did 14 to the bottom. You know, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's go like this. Let's go till there. 12.75. finish, save, and then we go here. I'm gonna have to pause in just a moment again because my wife is here and I want to say hi to her, and then we'll finish this up. One sec. All right, I gave her a kiss hello, and now we're gonna finish this up. Okay, so I do actually have this recording time here, so we're at 55 minutes. So let's see if we can just throw these reliefs in here, and I can finish the design in an hour, and then we can do the cut layout and do kind of the toolpaths in the next session. Okay, so 12.75 is what I said, right? Edit sketch. Now, other designers might not like the fact that I'm doing a lot of detail in the sketch here, and that's a fair critique. However, I just happen to know this design. I want it to be really simple. So just for this particular design, it made sense. But it also, you know, there's good reason to use a lot more features with other designs. Okay, so here's where the assembly really gets handy, because you can see that just kind of off the cuff, some of the things didn't really line up. Okay, so that brace, what we're going to do is we're just going to make that an inch. And that's going to make this all look a lot better. And then basically this looks good to me. We'll rebuild this. And it pops up here. But we don't, at least I don't, like how that has that look there. That's not attractive. So what we want to do, you know, for consistency of appearance, this leg and this brace should probably be the same width. They don't have to be, but that might be nice. So what we can do is we can, rather than, and I think I'm already there, aren't I? What we can do is, okay, so that's 2.75. What was I at the other one? 2.5? 2.5. Let's call it 2.5. An inch is going to be too big here, don't you think? We're going to need to go smaller than that for this to look good. And I think the visual weight doesn't require this constraint to be equal. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this smaller. Because there's no real need for that to be the same length as on the other side. And then we're going to rebuild this. And that gets us so close, so close. I think the other thing that we want to do is we want this to be a little bit thinner, or the groove depth, let's call it 1.5. So it's 2.5, so 1.25 is exactly half. Okay, and then save that. Oh, but let me check one more thing, because we're doing a little bit of cart driving the horse right now. This should be a reference. I did it earlier, not as a reference, because I started with a brace. maybe I should have started with, so we're gonna call it toggle driven. So maybe I should have started with the leg rather than the middle brace. What was the height that I said? Does anybody remember? Anybody? Anybody remember? It was like 16, wasn't it? 16 or 17? So let's call it 15. Because I don't really want this bench to be big, and it doesn't have to be tall. I was actually thinking 12 inches might be good. Maybe I'll mock something up later and check it. Okay, so we're at an hour. That makes this 13.25. Let's throw a save here. Let's get the brace. 13.25. But also we're going 1.25 here. 1. We don't need to go all the way down, right? Or you know what we could do. And these are all literally like everything I'm nitpicking over right now is aesthetic choices. First of all, why is this? I don't know if anybody else is noticing that, but there's a gap here and not here. I might have messed something up on that one. But my goal is an hour, and we're at an hour. And I like this a little bit proud. I don't want it recessed. I want it a little bit proud, and that's good. And this is good. Because it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. Oh, why is that saying an angle? Something is not right. 0.25. Multiple things might not be right. So let's go back here. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to put it here because this is what matters. And I'm going to make this one because I think, oh no, I'm going to make this one. I think that'll look better. Now, is this not horizontal? Oh, it doesn't like that. Let's get rid of these. Let's call this interesting. Interesting. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, it does not like that. What is this constraint? Collinear. Fascinating. Fascinating that the fusion is putting this line here. Interesting. What is this constrained by now? This one? No idea. No idea why that is not being a little bit happier. Well, we're over time, um, but that is the. It might be crashing right now. Okay, so we're out of time. Um, there it goes. We're out of time. There it goes. I think you guys get the idea. So I think. Oh man, what? Everything is gone. Oh, fusion. Okay, there we go. What happened here? What happened there? Did I type it in wrong? All right. I'm gonna finish this. We're gonna go a little over time. I'm gonna finish this. The angle is 180. You can see it right down here. 180. Well, I guess you can't actually. Oh, because I'm doing this window. Okay, 180. Right. Um. Man, I don't know. I don't know what. Some of this is a little bit. Oh, 13.5. Oh, because I changed it to here. 15. Okay. That's what happened. And now we're going to call this 13.5. All right, and then let's just be done with it. Let's just be done with it rather than going around and around and around in circles. Save. And then. Okay. Everything's hunky-dory except for these very, very small inconsistencies. There's a very small amount of overlap. This very small gap. Don't know why that's like that. Oh, it's doing it up here too now. Oh, it's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting because we locked it, right? We pinned that one in place. I don't know why or how it shifted. I don't know what's going on with that. That's weird. That's new to me with Fusion. So, okay, so here we're gonna create a mirror, just to make things. We're gonna mirror components. We're gonna mirror the leg, and we're gonna mirror it about the plane there. All right, so that's good. Here's our bench. So I'll do my next session as a and we're going to do the layout and we're going to cut these out. Now the idea is we're going to cut out 4 of these benches on a sheet of plywood. That's my goal. And so just so you guys, ladies and gentlemen, ladies too, just so you know, that's the plan. As you can see, like these reliefs, I mean, this is why I would mirror everything, right? Because this is just, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Some programs have auto reliefs, but I haven't used that feature. I don't even know if it's in Fusion. And I like to have so much control over my reliefs anyways that I don't know that I would do it. Because I do different reliefs for different spots, as you've already seen. Alright, so let's throw this here like so. This one here like so. We want to do the line here. Make it horizontal. I want to make this. I don't like how it does that. Construction. Oh, this is coincident. And then these ones are equal. Did I already do that? No. This one is equal. Equal. I just hit the hotkey to zoom. I have to figure out what that one is. So because this landing here needs to be kind of large-ish, I mean, I like the idea of having it being kind of large. I'm only going to put, what do we think? Split the difference with a 30 degree on this one. Yeah, I'll do a 30-degree one there. And now this one, you know, the reality is I'm not going to make this, I'm not going to do that one where it's equal. I'm just going to make it coincident. And then this one. Oh, so you could get it to tuck in like a little bit, like you can hide the reliefs more. You know, I guess if you go 15 here, like the relief ends up being pretty visible, this area, this big chunk that gets cut out. Whereas if you go the other way, what is 90 minus 75? The relief is hidden, but then you have all the weight on this part. So we don't like a lot of force on the small tab. I don't like that. I'm more into having the relief visible and having the design be a little bit more functional. But you can do it however you want. It's just another thing to consider. Alright, so finish sketch. And then we're going to cut, extrude, select that, select that. I did just accidentally zoom to full screen by hitting a key. I don't know which one it was. Was it? Nope. Oh no. Oh no. Here what we're going to do is we're going to do cut. All. Flip. Okay. There we go. So the last little thing that we would do to you know, clean everything up is throw on some more fillets. I like the idea of doing a 1/2 inch here and here, and having them be, again, I really like this. And I'm going to be cutting this with the only problem with doing this is that doing it this way is that this radius gets smaller, but I'm going to cut this with a 1/4 inch bit, so it'll be fine. So that is a nice little consistency there. For some reason it looks weird. The other thing is we put just a little, like, maybe, what is it? A little 0.125 on all the other. Can we, oh, it doesn't have the select all. It doesn't have a select all for every little. That's a bummer. SolidWorks has this nice feature where it will select all of these little sort of like, it's not a chain, it's like a loop. And then you only have to just deselect the two on your mirror plane. But I like putting these in because, and you know, the funny thing is this might mess up our constraint in the other thing. I like putting these in just to clean it up a little bit. And it's good to have these little lead-ins because that helps keep it from kind of chipping apart at the edge. Does it move our legs? I bet it moves our legs. I bet it moves them down. Oh, no. But why is the, oh, I didn't roll it forward. There we go. Oh, yeah, you know, I also didn't tell you about, the press fit. Okay, so real quick, designing stuff takes a lot of time. Real quick, let's do a press fit. We're gonna do an extrude. The fillets will get messed up, but I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna do it right here. Do a little line here and a line here, and then create an arc. And this is going to mess everything up. Make these, oh, why are you over here? Right, make these arcs equal, equal, and then what's a good amount of press fit? Why is it? So the other thing is that we want this distance. I'm not sure how to get that in Fusion easily. I'm gonna go for 10 thou, and that should work. This should be constrained. It doesn't think that it's constrained, but it's constrained. All right, and now that sketch is going to be extruded here. Oops, here, not here, and here, and it's going to go this direction to object. We're going to go up to here, this face. All right, that worked, right? Yeah. The fillet's going to be angry. Oh, no, figured it out. Cool, Fusion's better at that than SolidWorks. And we're going to save. I think this one might be angry though. It's probably going to be like, I don't know what you want anymore. Oh, all right, that worked. That somehow is still, oh, it looks like it. Is there a gap, a bigger gap on one side? Wow, all right, no, that worked. That worked. Wow, okay, cool. You might notice that we don't actually have the ability to create one of those press fits the way I was talking about earlier down here, because we're doing it on the material thickness, which is not a consistent thing to do, but I think we're gonna have to add it anyways. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there because you guys don't need to see the rest of this. But basically, that press fit that I just added there, I'm gonna add it here on these tabs. Again, on mirror it, so I'm only gonna do it on one side, and I guess I'm gonna do it down here too. So 3/4 inch plywood tends to come in undersize. So I might go a little bit bigger, maybe instead of 10 thou on each one, maybe 15, literally just to give it a little bit of extra. But sometimes we veneer these plywoods and then they end up thicker. So the cool thing is if you add too much, you can always sand it down and that will work. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end there because we're way over time. We're almost at an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, just throw this out there at the end, of course. This is not a live stream. I'm trying to do this as a live-ish thing, just so you can kind of see the thought process. But I don't know, maybe I'd do a live one someday. But if you like this, you know, the idea is just to see kind of the full process of designing, right? I'm not hiding anything here. The only times I pause the video are literally to go grab my tape measure and go grab, you know, say hi to my wife when she got here. So, you know, so the idea is you get to see all of the mistakes and all of the struggles and the exact way that I designed this, right? This is exactly what I did. And, you know, and I'll make those little changes offline out of the video just because we don't need to spend another little bit amount of time doing that. If I'm looking over here, this is just my monitor showing kind of what you guys can see. So, guys and girls, try to be equitable in my, you know, ladies and gentlemen, all people. Yeah, so if you folks like to, you know, see that, if you just want to see it all the way through, I can do that in the future too. I don't have to limit this to an hour. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments or send me an email. There's a link to my website, at least on my profile. Maybe I'll put it in the description. Oh, I will put a link to this product in the description. So every design that I do, and I'm just starting kind of doing this, is I'm going to make this available as a digital download. And I'm still waffling a little bit on actually shipping unfinished plywood, because I'm going to cut this out of plywood. There will be a follow-up video for this bench where I cut it out. Um, and I don't know. I don't know if I want to start shipping out unfinished plywood. It's actually really expensive, so I don't know that it's worth the money. But maybe I'll price it out and list it, and if people start buying it, then that's what I'll do. But at the very least, I will do a digital download of the physical design, right, that you can then cut out. And the next video is going to be me showing you how to cut it out. And I'll actually include a lot of those files too. So yeah, hopefully this is really helpful to you guys. If you really, guys and girls and everybody else, and if you really like it, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And I mean, subscribe and like. I mean, you don't have to subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of different kinds of content too, so but it's helpful. It helps us out. I'm gonna actually make one more comment, because I just realized this. If we go back to the scene here, I didn't throw a fillet on this. I'm gonna throw a fillet here, throw one here, finish up those parts. You know what? Maybe I'll just do that in the next session, right? I'll just make that a part 2. I'll just leave this as is and do part 2. Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that's the way to do it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this. And drop me a comment, leave a like, subscribe. And we'll do this again next time. Peace out.